Hello guys, today we're going to study 1.72 linear inequalities and absolute value inequality. So for this session, I highlighted over here, we're going to focus on absolute value inequalities. So when solving a absolute value inequality, we have two rules right here. So part one is the solution of absolute value of u is less than c. That means you're going to have a u greater than negative c and less than c, and the absolute value of u greater than c. Then we're going to have u either is less than negative c or u is greater than c. So we really need to remember that. Okay, please make sure to write this somewhere because it's very, very important. Example 8. Solving a absolute value inequality. Let's go ahead and look at this. We're going to have absolute value of x minus 4 less than 3. So here we're going to be compare, either going to satisfy the first or second condition. In this case, we're working on less than c. So we can look at this whole thing as our u less than c, right? In our case, our u is just going to be x minus 4. So we're going to have x minus 4. Again, that's my u. It's going to be greater than negative c, right? Negative c. Let's go ahead and color this really quick. So this is my c. And then that means negative c is just going to be negative 3. And then we're going to have this side is this less than 3. So that's the main thing we need to know. If we have a less than, and then we're going to set this to u is between negative c and the positive c. So once we have this, we actually turn it into the compound inequality. So we know we're going to add 4 every single term, add 4 every single term. So then we're going to have our x is greater than 4 minus 3. It's just going to give us 1. And this side 3 plus 4 is just going to give us 7. Okay, we're going to draw this actually in our number line. So we're going to have here, we're going to have 1, and then we have 7. So since we are dealing with greater than 1, less than 7, so we know both they are open circles. Alright, and then we said it's between, that means in the middle is our final solution. So let's just going to use a red color here. That's our solution. So I'm going to write it down as a notation form for this solution. We're always going to start left. Alright, we start at 1. We end at 7. So since we're dealing with greater, so there's no equal in there. So we say this is a parenthesis. And also 7 is also parenthesis. That is my final answer. Okay, that's an example 8. Example 9, solving an absolute value inequality. So when dealing with this type of question, what we always want to do is just the same thing as we're solving the absolute value equations. We're going to isolate the absolute value, which means we're going to move this positive 7 to the other side. Subtract 7 both sides. We're going to have negative 13 minus 7. So once we have this, we're going to simplify it a little bit. Of course, you can do this mental math. I'm just going to do it by step. Negative 20. So once we have this, the next step is we're still, remember, we're isolating the absolute value. So when we're isolating it, so we're going to divide by negative 2. So those are going to be cancelled. Anytime we're dividing by a negative number, we have to change the sign. And then we're going to be less equal than 10. Now is the time we're using the absolute value of u. If it's less equal than c, then we're going to have u is greater equal than negative c, less equal than c. So make sure you're going to remember this. So now we're going to set this as 3x plus 5 greater equal than negative 10. and less equal than 10. Okay, if you forgot, go back, look at this. These rules are valid if less is replaced by less equal and greater is replaced by greater equal. That's the reason why we can apply this rule right here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, since we're solving the compound inequality, we're just going to subtract 5 every term, and then we're going to have 3x greater equal than, that's going to give us negative 15, less equal than 10 minus 5, give us 5. So once we have this, we're going to divide by 3 every single term. Then we're going to get x greater equal than negative 5, less equal than 5 over 3. Okay, we're going to draw the number line. So here we have negative 5. Since it's a greater equal, so I know it's a solid circle right here. And also we're going to have 5 over 3 because they both is greater equal. So right here, if you want to draw this, that is right there, that gives us this solid circle right there. And then this between is our solution key. So I'm going to write this as notation form. That'll be, we always write from the left to the right. Since we're dealing with the closed circle, or you say solid circle, so both sides must be brackets. So we finish this question. Example 10, we have solving a absolute value inequality again. So for this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as the absolute value on the left side, which I'm more used to it. For my variable on the left side, my constant to the right side. So I'm going to rewrite this as greater than 7. So I know the absolute value of u, if it's greater than c, u is less than negative c, or u is greater than c. Again, this is the rule we need to remember. So there's a whole thing in the middle. 5 minus 2x is my u. So that means I'm going to have 2 inequality. Okay, we're going to have a 5 minus 2x less than negative c, which is negative 7. Or we're going to have 5 minus 2x greater than c. In this case, c is 7. So let me highlight this. Hopefully that'll help you. That's why I can rewrite this to 2 inequality. Once we have this, the rest is straightforward. We're going to have negative 2x, or subtract 5 both sides. Alright, make this as negative 7 minus 5. So I'm going to have negative 2x less than 12. Then I'm dividing negative 2 both sides. So this is going to be cancelled. I'm going to have x greater than 6 because we're dividing by negative number. Then we're going to have on the right side, this another inequality. We're going to have negative 2x greater than, that will be subtract 5. That will be 7 minus 5. So we're going to have negative 2x greater than 2. Divide by negative 2 both sides. Again, we have the switch of sign. That will be x less than negative 1. Okay, so here is our solution. So now I'm going to rewrite this on the number line. We're going to have negative 1. Since we have a less than negative 1, so we have an open circle, negative 1. And also we have x greater than 6. So I have another open circle. So since it's less than, so I'm going to use just a blue color, I guess. Less than is on this side, or greater than is on this side. So that is, the blue color is my solution. Our final answer in the notation form, that will be, again, you're going to start with the left side, right? All the way to the left side, we know is negative infinity, and then we stop at negative 1. Then we know negative 1 is an open circle, that means I have parentheses. And then because we're dealing with 2 parts, we're going to say or. So now we're going to use this notation form. Okay, this notation form, same meaning as or. So basically we have to satisfy both conditions. So another part of the solution is we're starting 6 okay, open circle, parenthesis, and then goes all the way to the right side. That will be the positive infinity, parenthesis. That's how we write this in the notation form. All right, let's go ahead and look again. You're always going to start from the left to the right, which means you start with the smallest number to the right. So we separated this solution two parts. So that's why you're going to have negative infinity to negative 1, and then we'll stop right here. And then we have or, which we're going to use this symbol, look like a U. You can find this on your Math Excel. And then we have parenthesis 6, and then to the positive infinity. So we have a 2 intervals actually works. You can go ahead and work on some homework if you still have questions or you're not quite sure how to do this type of question. I really want you guys to make sure to ask me questions, okay? Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.